Hey, you guys, it's Jay D'Angelo here. Just D'Angelo here. Just D'Angelo here. Just D'Angelo here.
Well, I wonder, we still hearing the echo? I think there was a reason for that. I wonder. I was having technical difficulties earlier today. And I may know why now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. My wife said I'm looking good. Oh, that's a beautiful compliment. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Oh man. Well, I'm feeling good. And tonight I got a powerful message, but a intricate message as well. It's not simple and it's not for the faint of heart. So if you with me and you stay with me, more power to you. Because this is about transformation in mindset. And everything that I talk about is about transformation in mindset. If we want to go from where we're at to where we want to be, or even more importantly, if we want to fulfill our purpose in life, if we want to grab hold of our destiny in life, we're going to have to shift our mindset, because in every level of life, in every set of challenges, in every plateau, every stage requires you to think differently, requires you to see things differently, requires you to have a different understanding, requires you to have the ability to adapt in a way where you are open to learn something new, to do something different. That is going to be a constant requirement in life. And so my lesson today, normally I go back to go forward. So I do a quick recap of the previous message, but tonight I'm not, because this is a very intricate message with a lot of nuances. And we're just going to jump right into it, because it's no reason to delay. There's no reason to delay. It's going back to mindset shift. Everything I'm talking about, everything that I am discussing in my session is about having a mindset shift, developing your mind. Tonight is no different. Tonight, we got a fantastic message, and it's called The Fundamental Principles of Mindset Engineering. The fundamental principles of mindset engineering, how to harness mental discipline. Now, here's the key. Key word that you write down. I always have a pen in my hand, write it down. The key word that is going to be woven into this throughout this message is discipline. Let me tell you, if you are a person who is shooting for something, if you are a person who have many things that you want to accomplish, and or a person who has accomplished many things, nowhere in the world you will get to those goals, those finish lines, without discipline. You have to have discipline, because you're going to have to create systems, and you're going to have to be persistent, and you're going to have to be consistent. And so discipline is the bedrock of it all. I always say discipline is the refining fire by which success is forged. Write that down. Discipline is the refining fire by which success is forged. Oh, got to have discipline. So, fundamental principles of mindset engineering, how to harness mental discipline. Oh, thank you for being with me. Welcome back to the Hour of Power, focusing on purpose and praise with D.E. Wilder. I am D.E. Wilder, and I thank you for being here with me and sharing my journey with me. I am D.E. Wilder, and we are living life with power, passion, personal growth, and most of all, with purpose. We always start off with giving thanks. Let us give thanks for all things, especially the small things. Let's celebrate everyday blessings and all the beauty of life that is surrounding us. Let us make an effort to celebrate the constant beauty and quiet miracles, which make life so uniquely precious. All in all, regardless of where you're at and where you stand, we should all give thanks. Thank you. So, welcome, family, friends, and fraternal souls. Thank you for joining me on my journey of possibilities. And I'm on a journey of possibilities because I believe wholeheartedly that anything's possible. If you put your mind to it, if you put your feet to it, if you plan it, if you are focused, anything. And when I say anything is possible. So let's get started. Let's go to work. Let's enter the realms of discipline. I always take a meditative moment. Let's take a breath. Let's take this breathing moment with me. Not a breathing moment, not one that we rush, not the kind that we rush our breath. Not a distracted kind, but an intentional kind. Because today's conversation is not about inspiration, but it's actually about construction. We're not here to feel good for a moment. We're here to build something that lasts. Today, we are talking about the mindset engineering, the deliberate design of how you think, respond, and persist in your journey in life. And more importantly, how to harness the mental discipline, the muscle that separates intention and execution. This session is for those who are tired of starting over. For those who know that they have a great potential, but is yearning for consistency and some type of balance in life. For those who are ready to stop relying on motivation and start relying on structure. Because when motivation fades, discipline still remains. Remember that. When motivation fades, discipline still remains. So let's get into it again. Segment 1. What is mindset engineering in simple terms? Well, in simple terms, mindset engineering is not just positive thinking. It's not just affirmation without action. It's not just pretending everything is okay. Mindset engineering is intentional mental design. It is the practice of several elements. One being choosing your internal framework, training your responses, installing systems that guide your behavior under pressure. No matter what you do in life and where you go, if you are going at something, if you are determined, you are going to face challenges resistance, and probably most of all, pressure. This is guaranteed. But the question is, how will you respond to those pressures? An engineer mindset does not collapse when condition changes. It actually adapts. It understands this truth. If you do not rise to the level of your goals, you will simply fall to the level of your lack of discipline. If your discipline is weak, your outcome of whatever you're trying to do will be unsustainable. If your discipline is strong, the outcome will grow, and in fact, it will compound. Mindset engineering asks different type of questions than you would normally encounter. It asks questions not like, how do I feel? But it asks questions like, what does this moment require of me? To what level do I need to rise to? Segment. The illustration of success and the illusion of motivation. Let's dismantle some myths. Motivation is unreliable for many different reasons, but for certain, motivation is in the moment. So it's unreliable. It comes and goes, it goes up and down. It responds to emotion. It disappears oftentimes under pressure. It disappears when there is resistance. But discipline, on the other hand, is trained obedience to your future. You don't wait to feel ready. You act because you decided it's time to act. Most people struggle not because they lack desire, but because they lack the mental agreement with themselves. Simply put, they do not decide on some things that requires decision, like who they are when things are uncomfortable. Got to know yourself. If you've been through some things in life, then you may have experience to know how do you respond to certain circumstances. But if you haven't, you might want to start thinking, who am I when things are not going right and things get uncomfortable? One, how they respond when progress slows down and when things start to feel like it's at a standstill. What do you do? What will they do when emotions fluctuate? Because they always will. An engineer mindset does not negotiate with resistance. It actually anticipates it. Discipline is not punishment. It's in fact self-respect in full motion. Self-respect in action. Segment. The architecture of mental discipline. Mental discipline has structure. It is built on 3 pillars. 1, clarity. 2, consistency. 3, constraint. Let's break these pillars down for you. I love this, I love this. I love trying to help people. And I'm a writer. I love poetry. I love words. I love conveying a message. But when I'm conveying a message, it's not just talking. I'm trying to emit an energy because I believe in possibilities. I believe in myself. I believe in what I see and I think to be true. And I just want to emit that energy to help somebody else believe too. Believe in themselves. Believe that they can do whatever it is that they say they want to do. Back to the 3 pillars. Clarity. You cannot discipline confusion. Why? Clarity answers what matters, what doesn't. What am I committed to regardless of my mood or emotions? Without clarity, discipline becomes force, a forced effort. With clarity, discipline becomes natural, and you can do it fluently. You can do something fluently and naturally because you have discipline. 2, consistency. Consistency trains identity. Every repeated action sends a message. That message is, this is who I am. Discipline grows when actions are small, repeatable, and non-negotiable. You don't need intensity. I know I'm intense, but you don't need intensity. You need repetition. 3, constraint. Freedom without structure leads to chaos. Simply put, constraint protects focus. Boundaries protects energy. An engineer mindset limits distractions intentionally. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything deserves a response. Discipline chooses what is best for you at the moment. This is the importance of having discipline. Segment, emotional regulation as power. Mental discipline does not eliminate emotion. We're human beings, so we're natural beings to have emotion. There's nothing wrong with that. But it governs it. Emotion without discipline leads to impulse. Discipline without emotion leads to burnout. The goal is balance. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is what we want. We want to be able to accomplish our goals and have freedom and have balance in life and consistency. These are the things we're working for. An engineer mindset asks questions like, is this emotion informing me or controlling me? Am I reaching or responding? Does this decision align with what I am becoming? Emotion regulation is not suppression. In fact, it's direction. So you don't want to deny emotions because we're a human being, as I just said. But you lead those emotions. And now we're using those emotions for common good. Segment, identity-based discipline. Ooh, let's go. Discipline becomes effortless when it's aligned with your identity. You don't try to be disciplined. You simply become disciplined. Put it in practice. So ask yourself, who am I training myself to be? What does this version of me do consistently? Ooh. What behavior no longer aligns with my purpose? So therefore, you have to take self-reflecting moments. You have to take time out to start asking yourself these thought-provoking questions that you may or may not have the answer to right now. But whether you have the answer to it now or not, these questions need to be answered by yourself. Who am I trying to become? Who am I training myself to be? What does this version of me do? And what do it do consistently? What behavior am I exemplifying now that no longer is aligned with my purpose and the direction that I'm going in? Ask yourself. Because an engineer mindset eliminates identity conflict. You stop saying things like, I should, and start saying things like, I don't do that anymore. That's behind me. That's in my past. I don't do that. We're on another level now. Identity drives behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. Outcome reinforce identity. This is the mindset engineering at its best at work. This is what it's all about. Shifting the mind. The mind's a powerful thing. And when you start to have hold and control of your mind, and now you're aligning your thoughts and your ideas and your concept with what you're trying to do and your purpose, can you imagine how powerful you become? Phew, we're talking about superpower levels. Unfortunately, because most people does not. They simply don't. They don't put the time, the thought, and the effort in to master their mindset. Be consistent, persistent, and disciplined to start accomplishing things. But if you want to accomplish something in life, these are all the tools you're going to need. Segment. Training the mind under pressure. Pressure reveals programming. Now, this is powerful because this speaks to a session that I had in the past where leaving trauma behind, because a lot of people are bringing trauma forward, and they are bringing a bag full of things on their back. We call baggage with them forward, and they're not leaving it behind. And what your mind was programmed with, and it starts when you're young, you carry it forward. But when you want to rise to the next level, when you want to go to where you need to go, you're going to have to let a lot of those things that you have in your mindset, you're going to have to let them go. Change and shift your mind. When stress hit, you don't rise. You actually default. You actually default back to your usual habits. Whatever you used to do, whatever you normally do, probably, most likely, probably, you're going to do that. This is why the discipline is so important. Mental discipline is built before the moment demands it. And you train yourself by keeping promises to yourself, completing small tasks without delay, maintaining structure even when it's unseen, unnoticed, or you're alone. Discipline practice in private becomes strength in public. The mind respects evidence of consistency. Consistency that you stay on and you follow and you do not veer off. Segment. Removing mental leakage. Mental leakage drains discipline. Yes, it does. Leakage look like, here are some things. Over explaining. Oh, people don't realize how much that undermines you. Over explaining. You don't have to over explain anything. Explain, be concise, be factful, leave it at that. Over consuming information. Now, we live in an information age. We live in an information age where technology is moving at the speed of light. And we have access to so much, whether it's television or music or streaming or social media or devices or technology or this or that. So many things. At times it could be too much. At times it could be overload. And when that happens, now you start to daze and confuse yourself. And I can assure you, and when you take a moment to look around, you'll realize you didn't get as much done as you should have. Here's another one: overcommitting. Some people just want to be all things to everybody at all times, and you just cannot be. Are you coming to this? Yes, sure, I'll be there. Are you going to be a part of this? Oh, sure, I'll be there. Do you want to be a part of this? Oh, yes, sure, that'd be great. Well, no, you can't do everything. You can't be everything for everybody. Do not overcommit. You have to save some time for the things that you really need to do for yourself. And here's a final one: overreacting. This is something that I had to work on. I still have to work on, still have to practice. Overreacting. There's so many times I think about a situation and say, I kind of overreacted to that thing. It wasn't as grand as I thought it would be, or I thought it was, and it didn't require that type of reaction. And I'm thinking about this in retrospect. I'm thinking about this in hindsight. But the work is understanding that and putting that in practice in the moment. And I'm still working on that. We all should be working on that. An engineer mindset is selective. You conserve mental energy. You simplify decisions. You reduce unnecessary friction. Discipline grows when the mind is protected. Whew. Trust me, two things you must protect: your mind and your time. If you want to get anything done in this lifetime, you got to protect your mind and protect your time. Very important. So, becoming an architect. Let's take a breath, a meditative moment once again. I do a lot of talking, so my throat get dry. Bear with me. Another meditative moment. Take a breath. Why? Because you are not broken. You are not inconsistent by nature. You are not undisciplined by design. You simply haven't been taught to engineer your mindset. And that is what this session is about. The road, the mindset, the thinking about how do we get there. Discipline is learned. Focus is trained. Mental strength is built in time and over time. You do not need to become someone else to become your better self. You just need to become deliberate. Every thought you repeat, every boundary you enforce, every action you honor is actually construction. You are actually building, and you are the architect. So build carefully, build intentionally, build something that lasts, because the mind that you engineer today becomes the life that you live tomorrow. I hope this message is going to get somewhere. I hope this message is going to get to somebody who needs to hear it, because you got what it takes. You just have to execute. You just have to execute. So stop understanding mindset engineering, because we just discussed that, and now start living it. This is part 2. If you just came in, this is the Hour of Power and Praise, focusing on purpose and praise with D.E. Wilder. I'm here every Sunday, 10 p.m. And today's session is the fundamental principles of mindset engineering. How to harness the power of mental discipline. Whew. Let's keep going. Discipline is built daily. Let's begin with the hard truth. You don't lose discipline overnight. You lose it daily. In those small moments when you tell yourself, this doesn't matter. Why should I do that? Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. That's when you start undermining your discipline. And you don't build mental strength in breakthroughs. It's built in repetition, in practice. So part 2 is not about understanding discipline, because we already talked about discipline and I already highlight the importance of it. But it's about instilling it and installing it into your life and into your daily practice. Because mindset engineering is not about mindset, a mindset that you only visit every once in a while. It's a system that lives within inside of you. So today we move forward from just the philosophy to actually practice, putting it into practice. From intention to implementation, and from knowing to conditioning. Let's go to work. Segment. Discipline is a system, not a trait. Most people believe discipline is something that you either have or you don't. That belief is false at best. And in fact, that belief is damaging. Discipline is not personality. It's actually programming. We were all programmed, whether we know it or not. We were programmed by the environment that we grew up in, by habits, by repetition, by emotional rewards of patterns. Mindset engineering means rewriting those codes. Discipline is created when decisions were made in advance. Systems reduce reliance on emotion and emotional decisions. Identity aligns with behavior. You don't rise with willpower. You stabilize with building structure. The daily mental discipline framework that must be created. Here's a simple, non-negotiable daily framework. Very simple. It's not motivational, but it's actually something that you just have to put into practice. Morning mental positioning. Every morning, you should have a plan of action. You should have a routine that you do daily, that you get into the mindset that you need to be, whether it's motivation or whether it's affirmation or whether it's a prayer, whatever you have to do. Everybody have different things. But the system that you build is the same. It should be the same. You have to do something daily, repetitively. Before input, there must be intention. So ask yourself one question. What does discipline require of me today? Not every day, not all year. Now we're in the beginning of the year, we're in January. Not what discipline gonna mean for me in December. No, we're not talking about that. Day by day, step by step, brick by brick. Today, what does discipline require of me today? Just today. Mental discipline begins with orientation. You decide who is in control before you even begin the task or your action. You have to have discipline and decisive compression. Too many decisions drains discipline. Engineer mindset, it forces you to wear fewer options, eat fewer variations, remove unnecessary choices. To have more choices, to have more options, just starts to confuse a situation and at worst confuses you. Discipline increases as decisions decreases. Clarity replaces fatigue. Completion over emotions. Why is that important? When we talk about persistent, consistent, all of these things, the whole goal of that in reaching the goal is to complete something. To get to the point where you completed a large goal, a long-term goal, a dream and desired goal, I guarantee you there were small goals that was completed to get to that point. You have to finish tasks regardless of your mood. Mood is not a requirement in finishing a task. The mind learns respect when it see you and your habits following through, completing things. That repetition of making sure that I complete things, I follow through, and I see it to the end is what the mind now says, okay, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. And you just get better and better and better, and it becomes second nature. Now you're not thinking about, what do I need to do? Do I need to complete this? Can I complete this? Can I do this? Oh, you won't even question yourself. You'll be able to do it with flying colors. Why? Because you're training focus like a muscle. Focus is not natural. You must develop that and you must train it. It's actually learned and you have to train. Distraction is the default state of an unconditioned mind. Mental discipline requires focus and focus repetitively. Where? Short, uninterrupted work blocks where you can now say, this is my moment, and let everybody who knows you and everybody who may distract you know that this is my time, this is my moment, and I need to be uninterrupted. Not multitasking, not doing 1,000 things or looking at 1,000 devices or something. I have 1,000 in front of me, but focus. You have to train yourself. One task, one outcome. Get used to that until it becomes second nature. Focus strengthens when you finish what you started. You reduce stimulation. You tolerate boredom without escape. I want you to think about that one. Tolerate boredom. Why is that important? Because boredom is not dangerous, but it can be. Because when people get bored, they start seeking and doing things that they otherwise wouldn't do. They start seeking and doing things that they may not even need to be doing. But you need to learn how to be disciplined in boredom and tolerate that. Because that's the quiet time and the slow down time where you can actually start to really think and really plan and really put things into action. It's training on how to occupy your time and your mind in the downtime. Think about that. Emotional discipline in real time. Mental discipline is tested emotionally, not logically. Emotion tries to override structure. Discipline restores order. When emotion rises, and it always will, take the moment to pause and shut it down. Label it and identify, okay, these are emotions. Sometimes they're unnecessary. And as I just mentioned, what I'm working on, delay reaction. In fact, that is the powerful tool that I am using in my overreacting, is to delay reacting. So when something happens, when someone says something, even when someone requests something from you, don't respond right away. Take a moment, think about it, put it in perspective. Think about your response. Then, and I'm telling you, in time and over time, as you put it into practice, that it does wonders. It really does. You don't suppress emotions. You sequence it. Emotions get heard, but not handed and not given away. This is what we call psychological leadership. When you are taking control of your mind, body, and spirit. And now you're leading towards your mental and mindset engineering segment. The non-negotiable rules. What is that? Every disciplined mind operates by one rule. What I said I would do, I'm going to do it. No negotiation, no self-betrayal, no emotional editing. You don't need any rules. You need one that you honor and that you honor consistently. Self-trust is built through kept promises to yourself. Broken promises weaken mental authority. Discipline is self-respect for yourself, enforced by yourself. Now, if you think about everything that I'm saying, and you think about the words that I'm using in the discipline, mindset engineering, everything is coming back to self. Self. So often we're looking on the outside and saying, what can I do? Where can I go? Who can I get? What can I learn? Where can I go to learn it? And we put in a lot of power into external forces. When the reality is we have the power within ourselves. And if you listen to all the words I'm using, everything is coming back to self. Agreement that you're making with self. Discipline that you're making with self. You have the tools, you have the power. It's powerful. The disciplined mind doesn't fight temptation. Of course not. We're human beings. We'll always be human beings. But it removes access. I like that. Mindset engineering eliminates easy exits, mental loopholes, environmental sabotages. All of these things, easy exit, mental loopholes, environmental sabotage, these are all the things that people do to themselves. These are not outside forces happening to you. It's you happening to you. So therefore, change the narrative and change the environment. If you change the narrative and change the environment, the behavior will certainly follow. If discipline feels like constant resistance, that means your system is broken. Because in time and over time, with consistency and persistence, your discipline makes things simpler and easy. Because most likely within your discipline, you have built a system. And a system supposed to make process easier, more fluent, more efficient. Let's keep going. As I mentioned before, let's just take a moment. I told you this was going to be intricate. There's going to be a lot of nuances in it, and it's not simple. This is something that you got to take notes about. This is something that you got to think about. This is not something that for anyone who's just saying, okay, I hear what you're saying. No, it takes time. Because it can be, you can hear what I'm saying, but I challenge you to put it in practice. I challenge you to put it in practice consistently. I challenge you to put it in practice consistently where now you have outcome and you accomplish something and have something to show for it, because that takes discipline and time, in time and over time, not overnight. I can guarantee you that. So you're going to need this. Mental recovery without falling apart or collapsing. Because discipline is not just rigid. It has to include some form of recovery. Recovery is structure, not indulgent. Your rest needs to be intentional. You pause, but you pause without quitting. You reset, but you reset without abandoning your goal or your identity or your purpose. Discipline says something like, I rest, but I don't regress. This is for longevity. This is for the long haul. This is for completing my goal. Not just now, not just here, not just in the moment. So this session is going to be multiple parts because they have a lot of pieces to it and a lot of building. We just did 2 parts. We'll do the remaining parts next week. But I hope that it offers food for thought and go back to the original challenge of everything that I'm talking about and everything that I'm doing. And that is change your mindset. When you change your mindset, challenge your mindset, everything else follows. Mind is a powerful tool. So let's have another breathing meditative moment. Take a deep breath. I like to say breathe in peace, exhale and release. You're not trying to be disciplined. You are training to become reliable. Reliable to yourself. Remember, everything, as I mentioned, is about yourself. It's about you. Reliable to your future. Reliable under pressure. Mindset engineering is not about control for just control's sake. It's freedom through building structure. When your mind is trained, life becomes lighter. You stop negotiating with resistance. You stop depending on emotion. And you start with a different frame of mind. Preventing yourself from being in a place that you got to start over. That didn't work. Let me start over. Back to the drawing board. We're building. We don't need to go back to the drawing board. Discipline is helping you build and grow. Why? Because you move. You're consistent. You move strong and quietly, powerfully. This is mental discipline. This is mindset engineering. And this is how lasting changes are actually built. This is how you remain disciplined under stress, fatigue, pressure, emotional disruption. Because that's where most people lose control. So I'm going to let this sit with you all for the next week. And I'm going to stop here and we're going to conclude this mindset engineering in next week's session. But I hope I shared something today that made a difference to someone. I hope that I shared something today that was impactful. Because as I mentioned, and I cannot stress this enough, if you want to start growing and doing things that is going to be impactful, start accomplishing goals that you set for yourself in life, you're going to have to change the way you think. And mindset engineering is a powerful tool to use. So if this message resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remind them that their peace and their grace and their purpose simply awaits. It's waiting for them. My sincerest intention is that the positive energy and unwavering dedication that I aim to project through both my actions and my contribution resonate deeply with each and every person who can hear my voice. I hope, well, it is my hope that our sheer spirit serves as an uplifting catalyst for our individual growth in order to inspire collaborative breakthroughs, which ultimately foster collective success and have a positive impact as well. A positive impact that we are all seeking in our lives. Therefore, please stay rooted, stay blessed, and stay living life with purpose. I am D. Wilder, and this is the Hour of Power, focusing on purpose and praise. And I bid you peace and blessings. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Truly hope that someone was positively impacted by not just the message, but by the energy that was emitted and put out to the world. Peace and blessing. Have a beautiful week ahead.